Hey guys, ZCrazyG here, back with another Crash 4 video. So of course it's been a busy and exciting as hell week, all due to the reveal of Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. And rightly so, it's not only our first new game in this franchise for years, but also it's returning to the classic format of Crash. And it's been insane to see all the excitement and hype surrounding this game so far. The trailer views are skyrocketing, the spread of excitement all over social media platforms is just insane. It truly feels like Crash is back and is cemented as a mainstay in the modern industry, and that makes me so unbelievably happy to see. So now I have kind of calmed down from all the initial buzz of the reveal, and while the hype and excitement are still in full force, I can now take a breath, sit down and properly analyse what we have seen and heard so far, and gather my thoughts and form my opinions. And it's those exact thoughts and opinions I want to share with you all today. I mean, honestly, to give a summarised thought, I'm blown away by what I've seen so far. Truly, this feels like everything I wanted a brand new Crash Bandicoot game to be, and it makes me so excited. When I made my wish list of things I wanted from a new game in December last year, I look back on that now and it feels like as if it's almost given me exactly what I wished for. So I'm going to talk about each aspect of what we've seen so far categorically, just so we have a bit more structure to things. Firstly, let's address the story, the main premise of the game. They of course have gone for the ballsy move of saying, yes, this is Crash 4, the direct sequel to the original trilogy. I'm absolutely fine to re-enter this era of Crash like it never left, and I love that they're picking up directly where the last game left off like all the other original trilogy games did. I'm excited about the concept of Cortex, Uka Uka and Entropy opening up the multiverse, and using that as our setting as it gives the devs such incredible creative freedom to work with, not only from a gameplay but also story perspective. I genuinely look forward to seeing where they take the story from here. One other thing I'm getting a sense of is that there's more depth to this story, which is something else I really wanted. Now of course, the Crash as a franchise is not really one for focusing on a complex narrative, and no, it shouldn't do, but I just wanted a bit more exploration, more time for these characters to interact and display their personalities. And by the looks of it, that's certainly what we're getting, with a lot of charm and a lot more cutscenes to explore these characters more, without making it feel like a bit of a step too far. I also hear quite a lot of people are annoyed or concerned by the idea of all the post-Naughty Dog games being retconned, and honestly, I find it just funny that we're even having a debate about chronology in Crash of all franchises. But the thing is, they aren't retconning it. The developers have said that with the multiverse implications of the story, that it's likely we could just see the other games as alternate timelines. And if we're being honest here, Wrath of Cortex doesn't exactly pick up where Warped left off at all. It just kind of starts with no real explanation of events or time passing, so I guess that we could just say this game is a mid-quel or something. Honestly, I'm 100% okay with the route they're taking here, and I'm happy just to let Toys for Bob tell the narrative they want to tell, and I'm excited to see what they come up with. Now, the gameplay. This is the big thing. I think the direction they have gone in could not have been more perfect. What they are doing is exactly what I wanted them to do. Return to the classic Crash formula of the focused, tight and dense linear corridor platforming, retaining the core moveset and gameplay of boxes, bonus platforms, gems and whatnot, and keeping those classic Crash staples like chase sequences, occasional vehicle levels and boss fights. But they're innovating and expanding upon that, not so much that it feels like something else entirely, but evolving the core experience of the original trilogy with new platforming elements, like rope swinging, the wall running, and those rail slide elements give me such a Rayman and early noughties platformer vibe. I love it. I also really like the idea of the new quantum masks, not only from a story standpoint to explore the idea of the masks a lot more, but also from a gameplay perspective, since each one provides a game-altering ability, though I do imagine that these will be very situational, which to be honest will be a bit underwhelming, but I guess as long as they provide plenty of variety and creativity to this mechanic, then I think it could still be a really interesting part of the gameplay, despite it being very situational. But overall, I am so content with how they've handled this. Take the core platforming of Crash and add more variety and depth to it without overtreading that line into unfamiliarity. Now moving on to level design and setting, this was the one thing above all that I was so pleased to see that they had done. The sheer variety and the depth of levels and settings they have shown here. Not only have we got a mix of returning themes like jungles and futuristic cities, but also a slew of brand new places to take Crash, like a pirate-themed world, this junkyard, post-apocalyptic world, this spooky world. When I say the time and multiverse premise allows for such creative freedom in the level concepts, this is what I mean. And above all that, one certain aspect that they have nailed is the variety of levels within a single theme. What do I mean by this? Well, think back to the OG trilogy levels. Like, think back to all the levels of one theme, like the sewer levels in Crash 2 for example. Each one, while providing some slightly expanded challenges, they all share the exact same aesthetic, visual and musical presentation. Whereas here, let's look at all the pirate themed levels we have seen so far. We have this frozen over harbour, a dark and gloomy pirate reef, this bright pirate town, and this jetboard one down a river in a pirate city. They all fall under that same umbrella theme, but they all have been given each a distinct and individual identity, which I feel will keep every level so fresh and make each one feel so memorable. And since they're going for a Crash 1 style progression system where you go from one dimension to another, if they have us do all of the levels of one theme together and then move on to the next world, I would honestly be fine with that, since they have shown that each level will have completely different takes and feels on that theme. The other aspect that I think they nailed here is the depth of the levels. This doesn't feel like we're wandering down a repeated corridor as much anymore. Not to say that every level in the OG trilogy was like that, but the sense of scale and detail they display here really gives that vibe that you are exploring this environment. Yeah, the gameplay is still that classic linear fashion, but now with that more dynamic level design and theming. Now, one last aspect I want to address is the visual design. This has been a big point of contention for many fans, since very obviously they have gone for a whole new art style, and I think it's thrown people off a bit, mainly because we have got so used to the designs of the Insane trilogy and CTR, and became comfortable with them and thought that this would be the look for the series going forward. So with the development being handed over to Toys for Bob, they have gone for a visual style in the same vein as the Reignited trilogy. A more cartoony look to the whole thing, and with the redesigned characters as well. Honestly though, I have no issues with the style they've gone for here. Yeah, if they did these designs in the Insane trilogy art style, it would have looked weird, but because it all encompasses a whole new artistic flair, I think it works really well, and I'm enjoying these designs so far. I especially love how expressive they are. This face in particular just keeps cracking me up. I mean, I get why some people might be thrown off somewhat, though to go to the extent to create a petition to change it, for fuck's sake guys, really? What exactly is wrong with Toys for Bob giving their own artistic style and visual take on the world and its characters? In all honesty, I think it looks absolutely fine, and I'm looking forward to see their interpretations on the other characters we haven't seen yet. So I've only just had to rewrite this final section here because of some new information that was leaked just recently, and it was regarding my concerns over what the game's length would be, which is fair I think, since they are charging full retail price for this. But a leaked promotional pre-order email from GameStop may have revealed a bit more than it intended. This email states, full sequel with 100 plus levels of play, new game modes and new abilities for innovative gameplay. Now holy shit, 100 plus levels, that sounds fucking mental. Like, for context, the original trilogy combined, I think, just had over 100 levels total, but I do think we need to quickly put the brakes on this for a second and think about this. The wording of this says 100 plus levels of play, not simply 100 levels. I think this might be a little marketing speak to make it seem a bit bigger than it is. Keep in mind, we not only have the Cortex levels, boss levels, and a multiplayer mode in this game as well, so this could very well be taking these levels into account as well, hence the of play part. Honestly though, we can't be exactly sure what this means at this point. We will have to wait for some official confirmation, so just remain cautious for the time being. But really and truly, other than that, I am absolutely in love with what I have seen so far. It's almost completely answered my personal wish list for a new game, and I now feel really confident and reassured that Toys for Bob will deliver on this game, and I look forward to seeing more. And I will of course remain cautiously optimistic during this lead up to release. But with that guys, I will leave it there. So tell me, what do you all think about Crash Bandicoot 4 so far? What aspects do you like and which ones are you a bit unsure on? Do let me know in the comments below. And with that, thank you guys all so much for watching. It honestly means so much more than you can imagine. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care guys.